Hear ye, hear ye. I am Kiera, please, back at it again with the white fans. But other than white fans, I'm back here on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell notification, because that's what I see YouTubers do. Now, first things first, I have some things to say, so please don't click out the video, even though I know you have an urge. One, thank you so much for 200K. We were literally at 100K like a week or 2 weeks ago, so things aren't really computing in my head at this moment. I don't even know what kind of content I make. And second of all, I don't even know who follows me. So would you be so ever kind and write your favorite color in the comments? Because we need to know what kind of person you are. And for all those who pick the color red, we're right here, brother. Beyond that, I have just released a music video, so it'd be nice if you checked it out. It's a hyper pop, it's an acquired taste. I get it, y'all don't have to keep telling me it's ass, okay? I'm not trying to be a musician. I'm having fun. And I know that you don't listen to that type of music, okay? But I do. And I liked it. So I put it out. Because I was forced to, though. We'll talk about that sometime in the future. Anyway, today I thought it would be fun to talk about mental health. Yay! Because we all know that me and you don't have it. So a while ago, I put out a video called 10 Life Lessons That I Learned from Adventure Time. And surprisingly, people really dug it more than they dug the movie Holes. So I thought, let's get some Hector Zeronis in here and let's do it again. So today's video is going to be 10 life lessons I've learned from Steven Universe. Quite another banger, a bop, if you will. The first quote I have for you today from the magnificent show Steven Universe, which, if you're not aware, is a cartoon, and I just feel like we learn so many great life lessons from different animes, animation, and things of that such, where they get a lot more philosophical and existential than we like, again, to give them credit for. The first quote we have for today, number 1, love at first sight doesn't exist. Love takes time and love takes work. Now, I don't want to get you your undies in a bundle if you're the type of person that believes in love at first sight, because clearly it may exist. For me, never happened a day in my life, but who am I to put my judgment onto other people? However, when this was said, I felt it deep within, because as much as we love love, as much as love is nice, as much as it feels good, feels like roses, feels cozy, feels warm, love is freaking hard. Okay? And we need to talk about the hard parts, because it's not just dandelions and roses. Love takes action, love takes effort, and love takes consistency. I'm not saying stick with everything if you're in a bad situation. However, don't just think it's gonna come all willy-nilly and easy. There's things you gotta work on too. And we, quite frankly, forget that we are part of the issue and part of the problem. So thank you, Steven Universe, for reminding me that although love is beautiful and an amazing thing to be blessed with in our lives, from our friends to our family to our relationships to our dogs, our pets, the things that we care about, it also takes effort on our part to maintain that relationship, okay? You can't love your favorite shirt and then throw it on the ground all the time. You gotta take it to the dry cleaners once. You gotta show it some love as well. Number dos, all comedy is derived from fear. Wait, yeah, baby. You know, they say that pain is the best form of cultivating arts. When you're sad, when you're angry, when you're upset, when you're agitated, when you're anxious, you usually are a little bit more creative. Now, I'm not saying put yourself in those predicaments. However, just realize when you see things that are funny, or you see masterpieces, or you see things that you're deeply, deeply inspired by, I'm not saying this happens with all art or entertainment or pieces of artistry. However, a lot of it does come from places that are painful. And that, I think, is really comforting, because you realize that not everybody has it all together, and the things that make us us and that make us flawed are inherently also the things that can make us make beautiful pieces of art that other people can relate to and feel comforted by and help them out and even help ourselves out. It's almost like a sense of healing. Like, it's a way to take all that pain, all that fear, all that anxiousness inside of you, push it in a little ball and make something beautiful out of it. And we don't give it enough credit. We be forgetting. We be like, man, I'm so sad. And I am. But So is Beyonce sometimes. And I don't know about you, but something about that makes me feel a little bit better. Number three. We've worked hard. We deserve to take it easy for a little bit. This is one I relate to a lot because I work nonstop. Workaholic, if you will. And I get great enjoyment and stress from it at the same time. But sometimes I forget that it's okay to take breaks. If you're a content creator, an artist, a musician, I don't know, any type of thing that you're doing, trying to be a doctor, and you want to just like work, be productive, because that momentum essentially is what drives us to be better. And we feel like once we get the ball rolling, oh baby, it's rolling down the hill, rolling down the river. However, that is not always healthy. There is such thing as toxic productivity. And you need to take a break. You need to relax because we all know burnout. However, we just need to learn how to balance our breaks. So don't be afraid to give yourself a pat on the back and sit the heck down. It's okay. The world will not end. I know it feels like it because most of the time when I feel like I finally got into a rhythm and then I'm just earning. Is that a word? Earning. I'm yearning. There's a Y in front of the earn. I'm yearning for a break. I don't want to take it because I feel like all the momentum I built up will be destroyed, which maybe it will. However, I'm going to be destroyed if I don't take a break. So make sure when you are actively working towards the things that you want to do, you take a step back and you fit in breaks. You fit in vacations. You fit in solitude. You fit in just chilling the fuck out. Because guess what? You've worked hard and you deserve to take it easy for a little bit. Why, oh why? A cartoon had to tell me that and not my own brain. Suspicious. Number 4. There are a million possibilities for the future, but it's up to you to choose what becomes reality. I cannot hit this harder into your head more than I can right now. I suffer from wanting to do everything everywhere at once. Yes, I suffered from it for most of my life. I just want to do it all. I'm a multifaceted king, queen, whatever you want to call me. And I just have so many interests and so many things that I want to dip my toes in. And you can, I'm not saying you can't. You can do everything, but you can't do everything all at once. You can do everything kind of in steps. So this quote really touched me in a way where everything is possible. Everything you desire can be. It can manifest. However, you have to put the correct amount of work into each of those possibilities, right? If you know what you want to do and you're diluting all your interest in everything, it's going to take a lot longer to get where you want to go, right? So you got to make sure you are very intentional with what you do, how you do things, who you hang out with, what you choose to engage with, because all of that matters and all of that's going to lead you into whatever you want to go. And if you see yourself kind of sliding into a different direction, just know you got to be intentional. Okay? Were you intentional with doing that? Why are you going there at 3 a.m.? Why? You could be asleep. You always talking about how you're tired. So why are you going? Give me the reason. If you can give me a reason, okay. But if it's just because of FOMO, it's up to you to make your dreams possible. And you have to put in the work. It can happen, but it is not easy. And it doesn't always naturally come to you. And you're not always going to be motivated or dedicated. So you have to force yourself. You have to train yourself to really make it possible and figure out what that looks like for you. Baby. Number 5. There's an awful lot of awful things we can think of. But for once, just this one time, let's think about love. I'm a sucker for overthinking. It's all I do. I live in my head. It's the coziest place I've ever been and the most terrifying. I got a couch there. It's free to stay. I don't got to rent it out to nobody. I mean, sometimes I do, and that's a whole other story. But living in my head and overthinking is my cup of tea. They ask me what I want. I do not say green. I say overthinking, baby. However, I gotta stop, or at least try to, or at least actively be self-conscious and self-aware to force myself into different brain behaviors. What was I trying to say? I need to force myself in different brain behaviors. So a lot of times it's easy. It's kind of my go-to. I don't know. Maybe I'm a pessimist. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm always smiling, so it may confuse some of you guys. But it's so simple for me to kind of gravitate towards what could go wrong and everything that is just shitty, and all the things that I could have done, should have said, should have been, all wrapped up in a nice, cute little burrito that I chow down in my mind and wait for seconds. But that's not the way to do it. You don't always have to do that. I believe Steven is the one who said this quote in a song, and it was very beautiful. Let's just think about love for a second. We can actively work to change how we function. Now, does it automatically just shift? No. However, it takes practice and it takes work. So instead of trying to just think about that one bad thing for the next 6 hours, maybe for 5 minutes, we can think about love. We could think about the things that we like. We can think about our friends that we enjoy. We can think about that sandwich we ate that was fire, which I need to get another one. We can think about sushi. Now, I'm not saying it's just easy, okay? I get it. It's easier said than done, because if it was done, I would have been doing it and I wouldn't have to be preaching it from a cartoon, okay? From a little boy. Here I am reminding you that you do somewhat have a choice, even though your brain kind of goes on these rampages. Try to take a step back, look at your thoughts as clouds that are just passing by and not actively hold on to them. Let them glide. And maybe when you see one that's good, latch onto that one just for a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of peace. You don't have to put yourself in turmoil all the time, even though it's fun. Not for us, but fun for your brain, I guess. I don't know. They be like doing that. Number 6, you're an experience. Make sure you're a good experience. That one is self-explanatory. We all have our bad days. We all have our good days. We all have our medium days. You can only do so much. Sometimes you're not always at 100%, and that's fine. But at least try. That's it. No one's asking you to be perfect. No one's asking you to be flawless. We're just asking you to try to be the best that you can given that moment. If your best is 60%, by golly, give us your best 60%. You are an experience, so make sure that's a good experience. Just be very self-aware, be very mindful. And a lot of people like to think they're self-aware. Even, heck, I do. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I don't realize how I'm actually coming across. So just think about that before you go and do something. You don't have to put a long brain bender, whatever. A brain bender? You don't have to go on a huge deep dive on why you're doing certain things, but just remain conscious, be kind to people, be nice to people, give people grace. People are human. The way that you are just really cruel to yourself, stop it, get some help, first of all, but also know that that can impact the people around you. And you would never do that to your best friend. Do your best to treat yourself like you would a friend. Give yourself patience and grace. And also recognize your flaws and take accountability for the things that you do need to improve on. It's not hard, but it's hard. I think we're at 8. We're at another number. I can't even remember. You are going to be something extraordinary. You are going to be a human being. I think this one is just nice because human beings are incredibly flawed, incredibly flaky, incredibly indecisive, incredibly all over the place. There's so many different kinds of us. It's kind of hard to think that we're all the same, but different in our different little nuances and quirks. But there's something really cool about putting extraordinary and human being in the same sentence, because I feel like personally human beings are pretty not special, but we are in a way. We just have so many nuances, whether that be from our personality, our society, how we maneuver through the world. Just know that you can be extraordinary. Whenever you feel like normal and you don't feel good enough or you don't feel great, you are extraordinary. You are part of this beautiful universe, and you were given a chance to walk in your truth and allow people to see that truth that you walk in. And you never know who you're going to impact. You never know what that looks like for you. But just know, however it's supposed to go, that's how it's supposed to go. and don't fight it. Go with it, flow with it, because you are extraordinary. You are a human being. I hope those words hit harder. I hope this impacts you in some way. I don't know how it is. I don't even know if this is gonna be a good video, but I think someone needed to hear that. If not me, then somewhere in the world, someone did. You've woke up and you're you, period. You're you. I feel like the lighting changed, and just pretend like it didn't. I think we're on 9. I struggle to stay strong because I know the impact that I have. Please understand, Pearl, you have an impact too. I feel like this happens with a lot of my friends where they just get upset, or they feel like they're defeated, or they feel like they're at rock bottom, but they almost can't show their vulnerability because they know how many people around them kind of like rely on them. Like they're like the voice of reason friend, or they're the strong person, or they're the one that everyone looks up to and tries to get advice from. And it's okay. I get that position. It's a hard position because one, you don't want to let anyone down, and you also inevitably you feel like if someone sees you down, then they get down because they were the ones that were looking up to you, and now you are at this very weak and vulnerable state that you don't feel like you're at your peak to help anybody. And you know, that can affect them, especially if they don't feel like they're even at their peak when you're at your peak. I'm just here to remind you that you do not have to be at your peak. Even if you impact people and you're vulnerable, just know that people see your efforts. Don't let that hinder or just make you distraught and what your next steps are or what you're gonna do. Just know that you do need to take care of yourself. And yes, your actions aren't gonna affect other people, but don't let it do so and manipulate how you operate. So much so that that's the only thing you're worried about. You work at your highest self when you're taking care of yourself and you're making sure you're doing what you need to do to get by. Even though, you know, you may have to care for a lot of other people, know that they will appreciate that. And if they don't, they will eventually, okay? They don't realize it yet, but they will. I'm not exactly sure how that kind of impacts me, but I know that this was a quote that I just felt was important. And I felt like I wanted to share just in case anyone resonates with it more than I do. Definitely have a lot of friends that kind of are in this position, and it feels like a constant battle because, you know, they are the strong ones. So if you needed to hear that, I'm so glad you heard that. And I hope you're able to share that and keep that with you going forward when you are in a sticky or hard situation. So the last one, oh my God, has my head looked stupid this whole time? For a fusion to work, there has to be a balance. And if there's an imbalance, you lose touch with reality, you become imbalanced. And I don't know, this is gonna be the worst way to say it, but essentially everything just goes to shit. You start seeing things that aren't there and it just starts falling apart. And this, I cannot tell you enough, is so true. Sometimes we be thinking we got some issues, some problems. Turns out those problems are all in our head. There's a balance, baby. And we don't actively, I think, as humans try to keep balance. I think we always kind of lean to these extravagancies. As for some reason, my life and my head can't compute when, hey, it's okay to be sad sometimes and it's okay to be happy, but you have to know how to balance that out and how to operate in your body on what that looks like for you to figure out how to walk in that and live your life and function as an actual human being. So a reminder, when you are on these heavy ends of the spectrum, as far as your emotions, the balance isn't there. And that's okay because you are valid and allowed to feel that. But know that you can lose touch with what's in front of you, what's happening, and you start creating problems or creating issues that your brain will believe are true, but in real life, it's not necessarily as big of an issue as you might think. Be cautious with that. Be aware of that. The word of the day is be self-aware, because as it's so okay to feel all of the things you're feeling, just know, I think I said this in one video, but feelings are feelings, feelings aren't fact. While it's very okay and you should be in tune with how you feel, you should also know that sometimes reality is a little different, you know? And you have to figure out how to integrate both of those worlds and see it through clear, objective eyes while maintaining your own emotions and your own thought processes and your own morals and your own ethics and making decisions and actionable actions from there. I hope that made some type of sense. I don't know. This video may have been a flop, but it's fine. I thought it would be fun and cool and interesting and helpful even to try this again. I think the last video when we did Adventure Time and 10 life lessons that we learned from Adventure Time, I was shocked with the amount of people that actually enjoyed the video and actually related to it, because I know I did, but I didn't think that it would touch people in that way. And all I want to do is try to help. So hopefully I helped you a little bit. And if I did, thanks for coming by and sticking all the way through. I appreciate you. Again, thank you so much for 200K. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just trying my best. And for some reason, I think that's okay. So, huzzah. Here's to another video. I'll see you next week. And yeah, watch more cartoons.